should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. This should be played at high volume. Preferably in a residential area.
The following thoughts on Hoppe Hour do not represent Cox Media Group or its sponsoring. Anything you hear may and will be used against you. Thank you. Voted as best local podcast in Tampa Bay by the Creative Loafing. You're listening to Hoppe Hour.
What up? What's happening? This is Hoppe Hour. I am your host, Ryan Hoppe. And I met this guy a few years ago when he performed for the Reverend Bob Levy in Akron, and he is a funny comedian. On the phone line is comedian Carlo Bellario. What's up, dude?
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We were talking off air, but I just want to tell the listeners, I actually met you 2 years ago. I'm like the 6'8" lurch that's really awkward, and I was there with the Reverend Bob Levy because we're friends online, and I remember I was just hanging around the comedy club not wanting to leave.
Yes, you're very unforgettable, as well as very tall, and you have hands that are the size of catcher's mitts, but yes.
I just remember your face. You looked a little bit frightened when I was walking over and you're giving me your business card, and I'm just babbling about something.
Oh, absolutely. No, you were as cool as can be. I like to break balls, but you were very good, and actually you had a good time that night, I could tell.
Oh, it was a great time. Whenever you get to see the Reverend Bob Levy bitch out people with a Midwest accent, that's the part I remember. All these girls kept heckling that night, and he was saying they're the C word. Oh, that was the greatest comedy show I've been to, by far. It was funny as hell.
Absolutely. He is a master of his craft. I tell you what, I've seen him. I've been on the road with Bob quite a bit, and I've seen him do 2.5 hours of just crowd work and just rip people apart without even doing one bit of his, original material. But it's not something easy to do. He's the only one I can ever see pulling it off. I mean, I know a lot of comics do crowd work, but Bob seems to be like the master at it.
And what's great at it, too, is you can't get that mad at him because then he'll smile with that lovable smile, so you know he's kidding. Because some comics, when they do it, they come off like complete dicks. But when he does it, he does it in this lovable douchebag way, you know?
Yeah, you're right. He does it, and then he does it in a way where he gets his point across, but he doesn't offend nobody, and they roll with it.
Is that how you would describe your comedy for people that haven't seen you?
I would describe myself as Tony Soprano meets Sam Kinison.
What is it about you that is similar to Sam Kinison and Tony Soprano?
Well, I have the Italian upbringing and the experience that Tony Soprano has, being that I grew up around it. And as far as Sam Kinison goes, Sam was my mentor. He was the reason why I got into comedy, and I am totally a rebel like he was.
What is some of the best advice that Sam has given you?
He said many, many years ago, he said, he says the key to every crowd is you got to work the hot spots. And once you work the hot spots, the whole audience will catch fire.
So basically you have to read the crowd and see where to attack?
Absolutely, because you know what? You could be the funniest comic in the world. Every crowd is different. I mean, and I've seen it happen to myself. I've seen it happen to other comics. You can go in one place and do your bit, and crush it, and then the next day do the same exact thing and not have the same results. And it's not the crowd's fault. It's and I hate when comics say, "Oh, the crowd stunk" or "the crowd sucked." No, it didn't. Something happened where you failed yourself, and it should never be blamed on the crowd unless they're really drunk and obnoxious to where the point where the whole show gets interrupted.
What is your approach? Do you read the crowd when you go up there and you figure out if this demographic would like this part of your comedy or not, or do you just go up there and just do your thing?
My method to it, like, about a half hour before showtime, I'll put on my iPod and I'll just zone out. If you ask me what's on the playlist, you're going to hear Metallica, anything high energy and heavy metal to amp me up. And from the gentleman we were just talking about previously, the Reverend Bob Levy, he gave me some very good advice, and I know it would sound weird to any other comic, but he says when you're getting ready to go up on stage, he says, pretend you're going to, he goes, think that you're going to bomb. And I says, well, why? He says, because usually if you go up there too cocky and too, full of yourself, you don't do as well. If you go up there and think you're going to bomb, you'll be, I don't know, it's like reverse psychology, I guess. And it seems to work. I just go out there, I do what I got to do, and if the crowd interacts with me, I deal with it. If they're hecklers, I put them in your place.
What is your key to putting the hecklers in their place? How do you approach it?
It all depends on who they are. If it's a woman, they're easy to deal with. You just got But men are a little rougher. You got to hit them in their ego.
Yeah.
You hit them in their ego, and they'll fall. They'll fall like a bag of stones.
What is it about us guys? We are such wannabe tough guys. I feel like every dude deep down is trying to overcompensate for something,
It is. Look at Iron Man. He has to wear armor. He must have a small pee-pee if he's got to wear all that armor.
Or how about the dudes that have to go 105 down the highway in their cooped-up Honda? Like, they have a small dick.
Absolutely. I hate those guys. I was actually at the light last night. I was driving around, and this guy pulled up in a Mustang. It was a gorgeous car, and he's revving the engine.
Yeah.
And I'm in a Chevy Trax, all right? And he's like, I said, you want to race? Go ahead. I did it. I get it. I was young once, too. But there just comes a point, okay, go wrap yourself around a pole for all I care.
The best part, dude, is when you see that asshole drive so fast and then he gets pulled over. I've maybe seen that twice in my life, but it's the two greatest moments ever. You're like, screw you, dude. Who are you trying to impress?
I laugh. I go, ha ha.
Or here in Florida, it's really bad. We have motorcyclists that just go 105, and you're just like, okay, dude, I'm giving you my space because I don't want to hit you,
Yeah, everybody's in a hurry to go nowhere. That's the funny part about it all.
Now, I want to ask you this, too, when it comes to driving, because I just want to get your take. What is your thing on people that text while driving? How bad is it getting? Because this is a thing that's just been around for 10 years. This wasn't around in the 90s.
Yeah, well, I started comedy in the late 80s. We had beepers back then.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it, but I try not to do it. I think it can't be that important that it can't wait. It's just, you got to be careful because there's a lot of good, innocent people that are getting hurt from it. And for what? To tell somebody to bring a hamburger home?
Yeah, dude. I text while driving, too, and I'm really trying to work on it. But I think I have this thing, bro. I think I'm addicted to my phone severely. Like, ever since Twitter and Facebook came out, and I've been doing this radio thing, and I have very minimal fame in Tampa, I think it's got into my head, and I'm really trying to humble out,
Well, you're trying to find your way, and that's understandable. It's the same thing as, look at it this way, the guy that goes to the gym and he works out, they're constantly looking in the mirror.
Oh, my God, it's the worst.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you could chalk most of it up to vanity. But for me, and I'm guilty of it too, I do it all the time, but I'm looking for continued motivation. When I look in the mirror and I see that the hard work that I'm doing pays off, it'll prevent me from skipping a day at the gym. It'll keep me going. So, I'm sure there's guys over there. Sometimes gyms are meat markets. They walk around, and that's fine. You want to be like that? I like to watch myself work out, but it's only to keep my form correct. And like I said, if I see any shred of progress, that makes me feel good. So other guys, I don't know what their mindset is on that, but.
Dude, I think the gym is where people who are very bland and average are overcompensating, and it gets to their head. There is nothing more I hate, dude, than the guys who have to break down their workout regimen, or their meals online. It's like you're not original, and nobody cares that you're losing weight. Sorry.
Yeah. There's so I could do a whole hour on people at the gym. I mean,
oh, it's horrible, bro.
The people I hate the most is the guys that come and they're in pretty decent shape. They got jeans on, work boots, a tank top, tattoos all over the place. They're beat red from the sun. This guy's he's got the hands of a construction worker, and he's coming to work out. And then I got next to a couple of these guys one time, and they smell like a pack of Pall Malls. What's the sense? Stay the hell home. Like, I can't. Then you got these little Asian kid that sits in the pec deck chair and wants to do his homework. Get the hell out of there and go home and do your homework, you little bastard.
Or how about the dudes who have to look all pretty, so they're wearing their Abercrombie and Fitch, like, muscle shirts, and they reek of, like, Axe. And it's like, what are you doing? Are you at a prom date? Or are you fucking lifting? What are you doing?
No. The best is the guy with the hooded pullover. He's got a hooded pullover on. He's got a wool hat on.
Yeah.
Earmuffs, gloves. And he wants to sweat to lose the weight, but he's got shorts on. What are you, jerk off?
You know what I love about the gym, though? Nothing is more inspiring. Maybe it's a day when you don't really feel like going all out, but you see the really overweight guy wearing a hoodie and he is drenched in sweat, and that's when you're like, he's doing it. That's my favorite part of the gym, is seeing people going at it, you know?
Oh, I've seen a couple of guys like that. I guess I make fun of them to myself. I don't, there's, like I said, I saw this guy on a bicycle, stationary bike, and he's a very big fella. But I give him credit for trying. But he's got this, and I'm sure it's probably water. He had this thing. It looked like a barrel with a handle on it. I don't know what was in there. If it was water, it looked like one of those. And back in the old days with the English pubs, and they had the big tankards of ale, and he's resting it on his stomach. I just started laughing.
Or I love, too, it's not bad because we're dudes and we love looking at hot chicks, but the girls that don't even work out that hard, but they look like they're about to go to some nightclub. It's like, okay, are you working out or are you trying to get the guys to look at you? What are you doing here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But that's the best.
The funniest ones I've seen as of late is the people that look like Darth Vader. They got these masks on now. I'm like, what the? I thought one guy had like the Ebola. I almost ran out of the gym. I'm like, what the hell is this guy wearing? It's supposed to be something for oxygen intake. I'm like, dude, I don't know.
Or even better, on Facebook, and I'm sure you see this, it's a bunch of people in their 30s trying to relive their youth. The thing of CrossFit. It is out of control. It's all bragging.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cult. It's no different than being a Mormon. It's just a cult of people trying to fit in, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And the old people crack me up, too. You got this one lady. She's dressed like Richard Simmons. She's about 85 years old. If somebody asked to see her license, it would probably be like an autopsy photo of her because that's how old she is. And she takes up every machine, and she acts like what the hell she's doing. And I give her credit. God bless her. She's 85. I kid around, but like you would think, she acts like she's like training for the Olympiad.
Yeah.
And I just want to get a slingshot and hit her in the head and say, get off the machine already.
Or the dude who comes over and tries to correct your form, and you're like, thank you. But then he keeps on hanging out, and he goes, okay, do this and do this. And it's like, okay, go away. I got it. I'm good now.
That's just a guy that's got more muscles on his body, and then he can't even comb his hair because his arms are too big.
Yeah, man. Going to the gym is a very bizarre thing because I used to be 295 pounds, so I was that dude where I would brag, I just lost 20 pounds. I'm going to prove you haters wrong. But then there's a point where you go, I need to lose the weight for me and not for anybody else, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
I want to get your take on this now. What is your take on everything going on in the election? I'm a 22-year-old. I don't know much, but what I do know is I hate Ted Cruz. So what is your take on everything going on?
I listen, you know, as a comic, I never got involved in politics, and you know, I really don't care enough about it, but I you know, as controversial as he is, I like Trump only because, you know, he says what people are thinking, whether they want to admit it or not. It's the truth. Does everything he says comes out right? But I think, and when all is said and done, how much worse can he do than anybody else?
Yeah, that's my thing.
If he puts his money where his mouth is, then this country is going to be better off. If not, then, you know, we're just going to have another 8 years of failure.
Yeah, I don't know if I want Clinton. What I love is the people that say they don't want her because of Benghazi. And you go, well, what happened? And they go, Benghazi. And you're like, but what happened in Benghazi? And they go, Benghazi. Like, I feel like something happened there, but people just throw that word out like they know something, you know?
I don't have enough confidence in Hillary Clinton to run the country.
She scares me.
No, yeah, not even that. Not even the fact that she's a woman. I just don't think she has what it takes. I think she would make too many mistakes. I don't know if she can handle the pressure. It's not an easy thing. Donald Trump is a businessman. He's used to, the only thing I'm scared about with Trump is that, he says he wants to be tough on terrorism, which I agree with, but I don't want him to be a warmonger and starting a war every other week. Because as great as it is for our economy, too many people, we've lost enough people in this country over wars.
Yeah, we don't need a World War III. I feel like he'd be the guy that would begin that just by being an asshole to different countries.
But he piques my interest, like how much worse can he do? He's a businessman. Maybe he's going to be good for foreign relations, foreign policy, maybe mending bridges with countries that we don't have even diplomatic ties to, and I think he might be crucial in that because listen, whether they want to admit it or not, Capitol Hill, Federal Hill, whatever the hill you live on, Sugar Hill, it's all about money. That's what the country needs, and if he can stimulate the economy, so be it. If not, then they get rid of him. And I would give him a shot. You know what I'm saying? He's a little brash, but you know what? He seems to be real. But you know what? Who's going to know? Everybody looks good. If you shine a penny up, it looks really good. But only time's going to tell.
Dude, Ted Cruz really creeps me out. There was something about that guy. I think I'd rather have Trump than him. At least with Trump, you know what you're going to get. But I feel like Ted Cruz has a lot of demons that he's just hiding, Oh,
I'm sure who doesn't have skeletons? But I guarantee you, I don't think Cruz is going to make it. But you know what? Kasich is way down, so there's no chance for him. Trump. None of the Republicans are backing Trump, so it's going to be an uphill battle for him. But you know what? I say, whether you love him or you hate him, if he could do the right thing, what difference does it make?
What about your former governor embracing him and endorsing Trump last month? What was your take on that, being from New Jersey? I have my issues with Chris Christie. I respect him in the fact that he is the governor, he's the head of the state, but he just doesn't seem like he does the right thing for New Jersey, and I think him endorsing Trump hurts Trump more than anything. Like, I have my own issues with Christie because of my personal situation that's going on here in New Jersey, which I'm a little upset that he didn't even get involved with. So I want to talk about that because I saw it on Twitter, and I'm absolutely sickened that we're even wasting our time with this. And I know everything about it, but a lot of listeners don't. So break down what's going on with your legal troubles. Okay.
Comedy is my full-time gig, and on the side, I do a lot of acting. I've done major shows and TV like Law and Order, Blue Bloods. I've done movies like New Year's Eve with Ashton Kutcher and stuff like that. So I'm part of a group on Facebook that posts for casting calls. Upcoming things. Hey, we're looking for this. Hey, we're looking for that. So I happened to see something in the paper. This happened last November on Facebook that they were looking for bodyguards for a drug dealer. I said, I read the movie premise. It seemed like a good idea. So I said, okay, let me give it a shot. I submitted. I get casting. I'm told to report to Woodbridge, New Jersey. So I go. So Monday afternoon, it had nothing to do with what the hell. It was no money, but I get copy and a credit. I said, you know what? It's a chance for me to get exposure and meet other people, and you never know. Sometimes these little low-budget films, they get picked to be in film festivals, so you never know. It seemed like it had potential. So my scene was a simulated car chase scene. I was to sit in the passenger side of a car with another actor who was driving, and what we had to do is we drove around a residential area of Woodbridge, New Jersey, for like 4 or 5 block radius, and I pretended to shoot out the window with a prop gun. No, I didn't fire any projectiles. I didn't make any noise. I just like when you were a kid and you played Cowboys and Indians and you went bang, bang. I did the whole fake recoil thing. Apparently the sound was going to be dubbed in afterwards. So the scene takes about 8 minutes to shoot. We do it, no problem. Everything's fine. We come back to where we were staged. Next thing we know, there's cops surrounding the whole set. Apparently neighbors in the people in the neighborhood saw us, got panicked, and called the cops. And you know what, Ryan? Rightly so. If I was one of them and I seen that, I didn't know what the hell was going on, I'd call the cops too. So now, bear in mind, this is when the Paris attacks were happening. So everybody was amped up. Everybody was charged up. Tensions were high.
Yeah.
Cops show up. They want to know who was the guy driving. So the guy, one of the actors says, that was me. He says, who was the guy with the gun? I said, that was me, sir. I said, we're actors. We're here shooting a movie. I actually had the gun in my waistband. I handed it to him very slowly. So they're questioning everybody. Now, there was about 8 to 10 of us there between cast and crew. After a few minutes of questioning everybody, the cops determined that the producer and the production company did not have a permit to film, so nobody knew they were there, which is par for the course, because especially when you have a small, independent, low-budget, no-budget film,
yeah.
A lot of these companies or production companies don't have the money, so they figure they try to fly under the radar. So now they didn't have a permit, and the prop gun they gave me was not a prop. That's like a regular prop in the movie. It was a BB gun. In the state of New Jersey, that's a no-no. A gun is a gun is a gun. New Jersey has this really messed up draconian gun law called the Graves Act. That means whether you have a toy, if I had a water pistol, a BB gun, or an assault rifle, it's the same thing. It's so out of line. I mean, listen, I'm all for gun safety. I'm all for people owning guns as long as it's not in the hands of a maniac or a terrorist, you know?
Yeah.
So I get arrested for possession of a weapon that day. I had a $10,000 bail put on me. My girlfriend came down to try and bail me out. She called she thought I was, as a comedian, everybody thinks you're always joking. I said, no, this isn't a joke. This is real. I said, you got to come and get me. So she calls the producer, says, oh, what's going on here? You're going to help this guy out. They decide to leave me high and dry because of the bail amount. We don't have it.
Are you serious?
That's not our problem. Yeah, so I sat in there for 4 days until she was able to get me out. And so that was in November. I just went to court the 22nd, which was the pre-indictment conference, which means that it's a court date set up for the prosecutor and the attorneys to talk to see if they can hammer out a deal before, escalating it. So we go, and I'm just thinking that they're going to drop this. They realize, no, they offer me 3 years. I'll be out in a year. I said, basically, I told them to stick it up their ass. Let's go to trial.
How nervous are you about going to trial, though?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little, but you know what? I'm going to roll the dice here because, people, all I need is one jury to say, wait, what the hell is going on here? Are you guys crazy?
Dude.
And the scariest thing about it is, Ryan, is if I lose at trial, it's not 3 years anymore. It's about 10 because they're going to tack on all this other stuff because they want to be spiteful. So they have this thing in New Jersey. Because I've been in trouble before, I'm not supposed to touch a gun. I had no knowledge I was touching a gun. I had no criminal intent. I was there. I was an actor. I was hired to do a role, and I did that. Robert De Niro doesn't show up on the set and ask Marty Scorsese, hey, Marty, do you have your permits today? It's not my job to find all that out. I'm an actor. It's a production company. It's all on their responsibility. So now there's this if I go to try and lose, they're going to not only going to attack the possession charge, but they're going to hit me with certain persons, which means certain persons can't possess or touch a firearms, like convicted felons, which I happen to be from years ago, people who are dishonorably there's a whole list of certain persons that are not allowed to touch a firearm. It's a very, I understand it to a point, but like I said, they're making it sound like I didn't leave the set with it. I didn't menace nobody with it. So it's just and I got a lot of politicians behind me. A lot of people are outraged over this. So and I think the main thing is, Ryan, is that they're mad, the prosecution is, because I'm doing all this press about it. And I said, well, what do you want me to do? Just sit down and lay down? No, I'm going to speak. Listen, I'm not vilifying the cops. I'm not vilifying the neighbors, and I'm not vilifying the prosecutors. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Legally, their hands are tied. They have no discretion with a charge like this because it's what they call a black letter law. So I'm just hoping that at some point that common sense prevails.
How nervous are you, though? Has your lawyer helped you out a lot so far? Well,
he came aboard, and I'm a little concerned because as much as he helped, he's doing things at a very reduced rate for me right now, and because I had to put up a GoFundMe, which I'm so embarrassed about. I still haven't reached my goal, but it seemed like, and as far as the judge is concerned, it seemed like he wanted me to take this deal. So I'm a little concerned about that because that means he's not willing to fight this all the way. So I might have to make a decision and make a legal decision or change my strategy if I'm going to win this. You know what I'm saying?
Have you thought about dropping your lawyer and trying to find one that would hustle and help you out during this hard time?
Yeah, well, I'm considering it, but what happened is this lawyer came on for very minimal. When this first happened, everybody threw out this lawyer's name in New Jersey named Evan Knappen. This guy is the Johnny Cochran of gun rights. He knows, and I spoke to him when this first happened, and he's like, listen, I really feel bad for you, but I can't. A case like this is going to cost $20,000. But now this was before all the media had. Then after January, I said to myself, you know what? Because I eventually thought they were going to say, listen, we'll knock it down to a disorderly. You go to municipal court, and we'll hammer out a small fine or something. But that didn't happen. So. I spoke to him just recently after all the press, and now this is becoming. I mean, I'm in every newspaper you can possibly think of. I was actually Googling my name. I'm in like the San Jose Mercury News. I'm in Denver. I'm all over the country, all over TV. So then I spoke to him, and he says, "Listen, I see that this is really becoming serious. He's sickened by it, and like I said, he's an expert. But I need to come up with $5,000, which I don't have." Which I'm trying to get. If I can get that next $5,000, then I would respectfully tell my current attorney, listen, no hard feelings, but I need somebody. I don't think you're in it for no offense. I don't think you're in it for the long haul, and I got to do what I got to do. In the end, it's my freedom. He gets to go home at the end of the day. I don't.
Do you think the media coverage is helping you or hurting you?
You know what? It's given me, I don't know. At first I thought it was helping me. Now I think it's starting to become bad because, it's getting my name out there and exposure, which, I was already well known as it is, but I don't want to be known for that. I want to be known for other things, you know what I'm saying? You know what they say, any press is good press, but, I'd like to be known for, like, playing Shea Stadium or performing here or there. But, I guess you take what you can get. As far as the GoFundMe has stalled out, and I'm in every newspaper. Oh, I didn't even expect. My goal was $15,000. I'm at about $7,500, so I'm about halfway there. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect to even get that much. So I am grateful, and I'm overwhelmed by the support. Everybody. I think 99.9% of the people are in support of me, which makes me feel good. It's everybody else has common sense. Everybody else sees it. Why don't the prosecution see it? That's what bothers me the most.
How long
nobody else got arrested. Nobody from the production company was hauled into court. Nobody's being held culpable. I'm the only one.
Why is the movie company not being held into it? I find this sickening, dude. This is getting me mad.
I don't understand that. That's why I need to get this other guy, this other attorney on board, because we had a conversation. He knows how to try these cases, and nobody can guarantee anything. But he told me, he says, "Listen, you get me on board, and it's a whole different ball game."
Where can people find a GoFundMe and find you online so they can help you out? Because, dude, there's a lot of cases that get me mad, but you go, whatever. But this is actually making my blood boil. Like, this is sickening because you're a good dude. Yeah. I want everyone to know out there that you're not some, like, douchebag comedian that puts on a hard-ass persona. You're a really good dude off the mic. Like, this is sickening.
Right. I'm just a humble guy. I'm grateful to do what I do. I can't see myself doing anything else. But, like I said, my goal, I'm at $7,500. Right now I'm halfway there, so I'm trying to raise $7,500 more. If anybody wants to help, even if 7,500 people donated $1, I would make my goal. It's www.gofundme.com/raw deal. You can read about the whole story there. And like I said, I've had a lot of news media. Even the NRA put me in their newsletter. And it's been supportive, and they're and a couple of politicians have gotten behind me, and they want to know why Governor Christie has involved. They're petitioning the Attorney General. So this case is going to get a lot bigger. So it's already on a national level, but I don't be surprised if you see it on a much bigger level, like a Good Morning America or one of those major networks like 2020 or Nightline, because I'm not going to lay down. I'm going to be respectful to them, but I'm going to fight for my freedom in a humble and respectful way. I'm not going to be nasty about it, and I'm not going to vilify nobody. I'm going to use every means necessary to win.
I know somebody who works on the news in Cleveland, and he has connections to HLN, and I'm going to hit him up after this and see if he can hook you up. I'll send you his Facebook info.
I would appreciate it. Any help that anybody has with any kind of media, or anybody knows that any company that wants to donate, or a corporate company that wants to sponsor this, or somebody in even anybody who's listening to me right now is a comedian or an actor, please, even if it's $1, help out, because it could have easily been you. It could be your cousin. If you're a parent or you're a blue-collar worker, it could easily be your niece who happens to do this, or your nephew who got caught up in this. So, besides vindicating myself and getting clear to this, I need to raise awareness to this, because this can't ever happen again.
What's it like when you get taken in? Were you thinking it was a joke? Were you in awe? Like, what is that moment like? This is fascinating.
Well, and I've always been upfront about this. I've been in trouble before. I've been arrested several times when I was younger. I've been incarcerated a few times too. I'm no stranger to that. It's never pleasant, no matter how many times you've been through it. Like I said, I'm not a Boy Scout. I'm not claiming that I'm a victim. I'm innocent in this instance, as far as I didn't do anything intentionally. When this happened, I figured, hey, you know what? I'll be home in a couple hours. They'll realize this is a mistake. They'll give me a court appearance ticket, and I'll be out. They'll release me ROR.
Yeah.
Now, 4 days I stood there. They put me in a cell with a young fellow, and I felt bad for him. He was of Russian descent. He barely spoke English, and he was withdrawing from heroin. So this is what I had to sit with for 4 days, and I felt bad for the kid. Nothing against him or whatever, but, one minute I'm performing on the stage, the next minute I'm sitting in a jail cell with a gentleman who's withdrawing from heroin. So it's like, it was very surreal, and I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't stay in here. And thank God to my girl who drove around endlessly for 4 days, wouldn't stop until she found the money to get me out. And a lot of people stepped up, family members. A couple of people said and did things I didn't like. They said they called my girl when they found out what happened and said, oh, we'll give you the money, but they were looking for, sexual favors from her, which I'll deal with after this case is over with the individuals that did that. But, that's a whole nother issue.
For people that are serious and not being pieces of shit, that are trying to exploit your girl and not being pieces of shit trying to get attention, how can they get into contact with you besides GoFundMe.com/raw deal?
I'm on Facebook. I'm under Carlo Bellario. My email address is carlobellario@gmail.com, or I'm at Carlo Bellario on Twitter. I'm very accessible. You can email me. You can friend me on Facebook, and you can contact me through the GoFundMe. Like I said, I want to do this soon, because first it's got to go to the grand jury, and then it's going to go to trial. And the lawyer that I have now says there's no way that they're not going to send it. I would think that there was no way that a grand jury would do this, but you got to realize one thing, Ryan. It's the way it's presented to them. So this is probably going to get the indictment's probably going to come through, and then I'm going to have to slug it out in trial. So if everybody in Florida, if any of you drug dealers have some extra money that you want to part with, send it my way.
I will be sure, dude, to hit up the news anchor that I know in Cleveland from when I worked for Rover's Morning Glory. I befriended him at a bar. He has a lot of connections, and somebody whose kid went missing, who was a fan of the show Rover and my show, I hooked him up with Scott, and then the kid was found. So I will hook him up immediately by sending you his info, and then he will definitely help you, dude. I'm certain about that.
I appreciate it, Ryan. And when I'm going to be down at the end of the year at the Improv, I'll make sure I hit you up.
Hell yeah, dude. Things will work out, dude. This is ridiculous. Karma for the movie company and for everything going on will hit them. You're a good dude. Sure, you've done things in the past, but you did nothing wrong here. And trust me when I say the media attention and people having your back with the higher power, this will make you be found innocent. Because if you look at your GoFundMe, it's not like you said, I was in a movie and I had a gun. You literally have 10 paragraphs of you defending yourself, and it's so well written, and it makes so much sense, dude. You are completely innocent. There's no way you did it.
I just told the truth. I just told the truth of what happened. You know what I'm saying? You know, they're trying to use my past indiscretions, and it's not. I'm not proud of it. It is what it is. You know. And another thing that disturbs me is that when I went to court that day, and when I had the conference with my lawyer after he spoke to the prosecutor, their new thing now is they're trying to say that I brought the gun with me, which is totally, totally absurd. I defy them to prove that and to prove any of that, because I tell it every time I've told this story, I've told it the same way, and the way I told it to you today is exactly what happened. And that's it. And you know what? If they were in the right, or if they knew that they weren't wrong, they would have commented. They haven't said one word. They've declined to comment on any of the media outlets. So what does that tell you?
Dude, it shows that you're innocent, and this will prevail in your favor. If you ever need me to retweet anything or promote it on my show, bro, I'm here for you, dude. This is sickening.
I appreciate it, and I was when I first met you, I always thought you were a good dude. I used to break your chops, but I always thought that, and you always kept in touch with me because I never forgot. You know, you were talking about you were doing this podcast and that, and I give you a lot of credit. And it's guys like you, and don't give up what you're doing. Keep going, because you may only do promotions now, but I could see you running a station or having your own major syndicated show.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot. And if that does happen, I will bring you along and have you on as like a correspondent or something, because you're talented, and this makes my blood boil. Like I said, dude, I'm outspoken, and a lot of times I'll see a case, and I go, this... You made complete sense. Everything you said to me was on your GoFundMe and what you've said on the news. So trust me, things will prevail in your matter. I don't believe in God, but even praying might help, dude. Things will work out.
You got to have faith at times like this, that's for sure. And I appreciate all the support, Ryan.
All right, thanks, dude.
Take care. I hope to see you soon.
All right, sounds good, man. Hit me up when you're in Tampa.
I sure will. Thanks.
All right, see you later, dude.
Bye.
Absolutely sickening with everything going on, and what I'm about to say has nothing to do with him, so I don't want anybody taking what I'm about to say, but absolutely sickening that we're going to waste our time with everything going on with this, everything going on in America, the crimes in Camden, New Jersey, everything in general. We're going to waste our time over an accident that happened in a movie theater. Get the hell out of here. To the jury, to the judge, everybody, look yourself in the mirror and say, is this worth fighting over? Or should we just kind of give up and move on and quit the waste of time that this is taking, the taxpayers' money? Governor Chris Christie, you've done a lot of sketchy things. Get up and help out Carlo Bellario. He is a humble dude. He's a hardworking comedian. And sure, he has a bit of a sketchy past. But don't we all? So get up and help him prevail. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. This is me saying it, not him. If you want to help out Carlo, and I'm going to be donating too, everyone should donate. My show has over 90,000 listens. Everyone, just donate $1. Donate more. It's GoFundMe.com/raw deal. That is GoFundMe.com/raw deal. He has a lovely girlfriend. He has 2 kids. Imagine the 2 kids that could potentially not have a father over a fucking movie that he was filming, that he was in, a dude trying to make a living, and he thought it was a prop gun. An innocent mistake. Absolutely sickening. And if you don't believe him, listen to what he said on my show and go to GoFundMe.com/raw deal, and you will see that it's identical. And you will see in all the newspaper reports and the radio shows he's going on and the podcasts he's going on, like mine, and the news reports, he says the same thing. So, if you lie, you begin to kind of have different details. But if you had the same thing in each and every media report, maybe you're telling the truth. And trust me, I would not have scumbags or thugs or leeches on my show. I'm an outspoken guy. I hate drunk drivers, and I hate people with crime, and I hate people that abuse the system. But trust me when I say he's innocent. Get your act together, New Jersey. Get your act together, America. Look at Flint, Michigan. The dirty water. Look at our country. We're fucking broke. Look at everything going on. We have drunk driving at an all-time high. We have text while driving. We have all these issues. We have 4 bums that are running for president. We have Republicans and Democrats in D.C. that can't get along and can't fix anything. But they're going to focus their time on a comedian that made one mistake, and anybody else could have done it. I could have done it. How is he supposed to know if it's a real gun or not? And it was a BB gun. God damn it. Sickening. Absolutely sickening. Go to GoFundMe.com/raw deal. That is GoFundMe.com/raw deal. Listen, New Jersey, you have a bad rap as it is. Get your act together. Because I know there's New Jersey pride. Yeah, man, we're from New Jersey. But this makes you look like a bunch of uptight scumbags that don't want to admit that you're wrong. Come on. He's a father with 2 kids, a hardworking comedian, and he's no different than you. Come on.
Hoppe Hour. Hoppe Hour.